volume, area, and perimeter. Okay, we are going to mainly focus this period on working with the perimeter and the area of these basic shapes. Please copy the following into your books. We want to know what is the perimeter and what is the area. Let's have a look again. Okay, please remember the perimeter is the total distance around the outside of a shape. Okay, the perimeter of a circle we refer to as the circumference. So please take note of that. We don't say the perimeter of a circle, we refer to it as the circumference of a circle. And the area, that is the amount of surface area a certain shape covers. Let's have a look at the formula that you need to know of these following basic shapes. The first one, a square or a rectangle. They both sort of share the same formulas, just maybe applied a little bit differently. So I've put them all into one slide together. Let's have a look. All right, the perimeter of a rectangle or square is where you just add all the four sides together. Okay, with a square, you can also say side times 4. And with a rectangle, you can say length times 2 plus breadth times 2. But the easiest way just to remember it is you add all the sides together. And for the area, it's length times breadth. Let's have a look at the triangle. Please take note of the base and the height. The height is always perpendicular to the base. So what that means is the height is always, it meets the base at a 90-degree angle. Okay, and those two form the base and the height. Please take note that sometimes the height lies outside of the triangle. In your textbook, there's a very good example of that, where the triangle's a little bit skewed. So the base is still meets the height at a 90-degree angle, but the height sometimes lie outside the triangle. It's not always on top of or on the triangle. The perimeter of a triangle, again, is just where you add all the sides together. And the area is half times base times height, or you can use base times height divided by 2. And then the circle. Please take note, the diameter, it always is a straight line that crosses through the middle, the mid-center or the center of the circle. The midpoint, it has to cross through there, and that if it goes from the one side of the circle's edge all the way to the other side, that is the diameter. If I cut it in 2, so it goes from the midpoint all the way to the edge of the circle, then we refer to it as the radius. The perimeter of a circle, or, sorry, I should have put it there, the circumference of the circle is 2 times pi times radius, or squashed together, standing together, 2 pi r, 2 pi radius. The perimeter, also referred to as the circumference. And the area is pi times radius squared, pi r squared. Let's quickly have a look at an example together, and please also copy this into your exercise book together with the formula. All right, example 1, let's have a look. The question is calculate the perimeter of this shape. Okay, so now this is not a shape that is known to us. We can't look at it and say, that is a square or that is a circle. No, it's made up out of different shapes that we do know. So we need to identify what shapes those are that we can use the formula from. All right. So to start with the perimeter, if you have a look at the shape, you've got 4 centimeters, 6 centimeters, and 8 centimeters. There's 2 sides that you definitely do not have. Okay, and that is the side highlighted in pink over there. You do not have, please take note, it's a semicircle. So you need the circumference of that semicircle and also that line there on top, the straight horizontal line, which forms part of that rectangle over there. All right, so how can we find, let's start with the horizontal line that forms part of the rectangle. How do we get that length over there? So if you look down, it's exactly the same length as that forms part of that triangle. And there's no way without using that triangle that we can get that length. So we are going to use, with that triangle, can you see that you've got a right angle triangle? And immediately when you see a right angle triangle, you must think of Pythagoras. I can use Pythagoras to find what is the side opposite of a 90 degree? The hypotenuse. Okay, so we can find that side by working out the hypotenuse of that triangle, right angle triangle. Okay, so let's do that. 8 squared, remember that's the 2 sides touching the 90 degrees, squared, added together, will give you the hypotenuse squared. And just in this picture, I've just named it an L, just so that you can see what I'm referring to. So 8 squared plus 6 squared is equal to L squared. Work out. 64 plus 36 is 100. The square root of 100 is 10. So the length there is 10, and you can go fill it in as well. Like I did on top there, length is equal to 10 centimeters. Cool. Now we've got the one side. Now we still need the length or the circumference of that semicircle over there. Okay, it says to find the length of the half circle. Okay, all right. The circumference, we know that the formula for that is 2 pi radius. 2 times pi times radius. But because it's half a circle, we're going to take our answer and half it. We're going to divide it in 2. But very important, if you look at that circle, that semicircle, the radius you can gather from looking all the way to the right, that length is 4 centimeters. So the diameter is 4 centimeters. But we don't work with the diameter, we work with the radius. How do you get the radius? You take the diameter and you divide it in 2. Okay, so 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the radius is 2. Okay, so you're going to pop it into your formula. 2 times pi times 2 gives you your answer. And then I just split that into 2 or half it. I divide it by 2 because it is a semicircle. And then you get your answer there is 6.28 centimeters. All right, so now do we have all the lengths of the outer side of this shape? Yes, we do. We've got the 10 there on top, we've got a 4, a 6, a 8, and that semicircle is 6.28 centimeters. All right, so now we can just add all those sides up together to get our total perimeter, which is 34.28 centimeters. All right, the next question is, we have to now calculate the area. Calculate the area of the following shape. Okay, so there's 3 steps that I normally do with an area of a shape that we don't know. You cannot look at that shape and say, aha, that is a triangle. No, it's made up out of different shapes, but shapes that we do know. Okay, we know that that shape is made out of a rectangle, a triangle, and a semicircle. Right, so you can follow these steps if you want. Step 1, label your different known shapes. A is a rectangle, B is your triangle, and C is your semicircle. Step 2, calculate the area of each shape separately. Then, step 3, please people, you add your answers back together. You don't multiply them back together. Remember, you break them apart, you subtract them from each other. At the end, you need to add them back together. Okay, and I quickly showed you here. Let's have a look at the area of A. A is a rectangle, and the formula for a rectangle, the area of a rectangle is length times breadth, which is 4 times 10. So that gives you 40 centimeters squared. All right, box that answer, keep it aside. Area of B. B is a triangle. The formula for a triangle, the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, or you could have said half times base times height. Will give you the same answer. Work out your answer, you get 24 centimeters squared. Box that answer, keep it aside. Then, lastly, area of C. C is a semicircle. That is why I'm dividing my answer by 2. The area of a circle, a full circle, is pi radius squared. And if I get that, remember the radius, we work with 2. The radius of that circle is 2. So pi 2 squared, and you get your answer and you divide it by 2. Lots of you forget always in the exams. If you work with the semicircle, make a big knot there or write a big divided by 2 so that you can remember that you have to divide your answer by 2. All right, and then you get 6.28 centimeters squared. Box that answer, keep it aside. Now, step 3 is you add all your answers back together. As indicated there below, 40 centimeters squared plus 24 centimeters squared plus the 6.28 centimeters squared. So the area of A, B, and C all added back together gives you 70.28 centimeters squared. And there's just a picture of it enlarged. So please people, just for today, you've got no homework. All I'm asking you is in your exercise book, please copy the formula of all these known shapes, the circle, the rectangle, and the triangle. And then also, please do this example in your exercise book. And tomorrow we will carry on with this work. You must have a fabulous day. Thanks, and goodbye.